I had a big wake-up call this weekend. Let's talk about it today on Motivation Monday. Life has a way of coming at us fast, whether we're ready for it or not. I know that many of you have experienced it. You've had those wake-up calls. And my wife and I, we had a wake-up call this weekend when we registered our oldest daughter for driver's ed. We're still trying to figure out how we have a child who is old enough to learn how to drive and trying to wrap our mind around the fact that she will be driving soon enough. I know that many of you have been there and you've grappled with those same emotions and thoughts, and I know we'll be just fine. But isn't it a wake-up call to realize, wow, life goes by so fast? Those wake-up calls sometimes come in ways like that are pleasant milestones in the passage of time. There are others that are harder, that are more tragic. There are some that are happier, that are joy filled. But wherever we find those wake-up calls, those moments where our mind really thinks, make the most of them. Make sure especially that you're making the most of the time that God has given you and the resources that God has given you. Our memory verse this week from Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 7 is right on this same track of thought. In the Ten Commandments there, we read, "You shall have no other God before me." God should be first and the only in everything that we do. In the decisions that we make with our lives, the way we spend our resources, our time, our talents, and treasures that God has given us, God should be first. In raising our children, God should be first. In our marriages, God should be first. In everything that we do, every aspect of life, wherever we find ourselves in the course of life and in the place of life, God needs to be first. And so we're thankful for those wake-up calls when they're good, when they're bad, when they're happy, and when they're sad. God bless us all.